Good Morning Whiplash Group and those that have attended the Huntington Beach seminar this weekend was fantastic. We had incredible speakers with attorney Michael Coates. We had Dr. Jeff Kronk, who also has a law degree. We had Bill Gallagher, who's put together an entire certification program for personal injury that's 150 hours. We had Jeff States with the Personal Injury Training Institute, who has a certification program for 60 hours, and myself, and it was fantastic. And the venue was great, of course, Huntington Beach, of all the California areas. California, regardless of your political views, it's got beautiful beaches and some great places to go and visit. And going through the traffic of LA and stuff to get there, some people flew in, some people drove in. A lot of local docs had a fantastic time and came in. And we drove there, and boy, once you arrive at Huntington Beach, it's just a little slice of heaven there. And the venue at the Kimpton Inn was just great. The content, awesome. And where we went over things like how to black belt being ready for the questions and the answers when you have a deposition, which is so huge because many people are uncomfortable being that expert. And that's why it's so important to get certified, where you have that ownership of confidence going in to prepare for defending the truth. And that's the important part. It's not about defending the patient, it's about defending the truth. And that shall set the patient free and the case free because we bring the right physics and research and skill sets and stuff to the table rather than just making up junk science like some of the other people that are called into court to fight against the patients and unfortunately in their care. So I want to just kind of sum up a few really cool things. One, the book Traction was brought up, and I've recommended this to our members in the past. And as I was reviewing the book Traction out on a run this morning, I'm like, yeah, okay, so many of these things, these principles are taught in business finishing school, which we address from time to time. I just want to summarize a couple of key things here, talking about having an operating system in your office where things are functioning the same. So that the owner and the team members, which he drives the point home of having the right people, not just people who aren't qualified, just because, like that DEI stuff that we've been going through in America this last year is a business killer. You want to have people who have the skill set that are qualified and the desire and drive to do a great job because they have ownership mentality in your business. They take your business seriously, and your business is their business as far as they're concerned because they know that it not only does it create a paycheck, but if you're structured right, doctors and attorneys, you have fair pay with bonus structure. So they have skin in the game to see the business grow as well, and besides just you. And it makes it less stressful for you when there's those slow months, and everybody wins when there's those big months. So everybody is behind pushing the cart together rather than some people just punching a clock. You hear me talk about that stuff all the time, and I love how he talks about his EOS or entrepreneurial operating system being a core component of your practice or your business. And in that, you have to have your values defined. And if you haven't done Module 1 and Module 2 of Business Finishing School, I'm going to encourage you to do those. Well, how do you do those? There is time that you work in your office, and there's time that you work on your office. And as we've learned in past teachings from Stephen R. Covey, who talked about sharpening the saw. If you're going to go cut down a tree, you should spend the next 30 minutes sharpening your saw before you start cutting down trees. Or you're going to do way more work. It's going to take you a lot longer. You're going to be a lot more exhausted. That's the concept of working on your business and working in your business. If you're always just working in your business, I'm telling you, you're beating your head against the wall on a lot of things, and you're not fine tuning to make yourself work smarter instead of harder. So when we look at the E-Myth, we look at Traction, we look at 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, we look at Business Finishing School, and we look at what we're trying to teach you in the Whiplash Group. We're trying to help with personal injury, but also practice success. And part of that comes with perfecting yourself, because if you aren't doing better, how is your team going to do better? If you're not doing better and balancing things at home, how is work going to do better? You have to have all these things balanced. So it's a process. That's why we're working on these things over time. You can't just learn it all in one fell swoop. So the first chapter talks about vision. You need to have that vision of where you want to take your business, and you have to have your team on board. And you do that by having weekly meetings that you're discussing topics to fine tune and change courses. You need to do it. You need to have your structures, which we'll talk about in another time here. But we need to have our values lined up. And once you've actually gone through Module 2 and Module 1 of Business Finishing School, and you've got your values lined up for you and at home, and you've got your values lined up between you and your team, coming up with those and picking the top 4 to 7, those are the values of the practice. Patients that don't fit those values shouldn't be your patients. Your practice, your firm is not designed or shouldn't be designed to be a catch-all to just let everybody in. You're all going to be miserable because there are certain people that just don't fit your model. They're not a fit for you and working with them. And it's better to get rid of them and weed the garden than to have them in causing chaos and dysfunction in your practice or your firm that makes everybody uncomfortable. So empower your staff, your team, with having those values outlined so that they can tell you, hey, Mrs. Jones doesn't quite fit here. I would rather we not have her as a client or patient, and empower them to be able to do that. Don't force people into your practice that make your team uncomfortable. Know the values of who should be, when you have your values lined up, you know who should be working there with you. And if they don't fit those values, they're out. So hire slow, fire fast, make sure you have the right people in place that fit these values and fit the work ethic. Make sure you do that for the clients that you accept. These procedures make things so much easier for you to build a healthier practice. Now, I just want to touch on this. We're going to touch on this again later. I touched on time management, the 168 hours a week. In fact, we all have the same time. We look at Donald Trump, who sleeps 3 or 4 hours and is constantly working all the time and all the things he's done to build this empire and now be running a country. Whether you like him or not, the guy gets stuff done. And he does it in the same amount of hours per week that you have, or the same amount of hours per week that a homeless person has, who is managing their time right to maximize productivity, success, joy, and happiness. So you might want to pause or talk to me on our next coaching call on how to better manage some time here, because I'm going to tell you, if you're working more than 4 days a week, you're working too much. You're working too hard. Less smart, more hard. I'm going to encourage you to work more smart, less hard. In 3.5 days, you can have plenty of time to see the same amount of people. I guarantee it. When we get on the phone, you will see the same amount of people with the same or better quality of your time and your talents in less time, so you have longer weekends with your family to balance out home and work better. In that 4 days, you should have a half a day that you're working on the business, not in the business, so that you're actually sharpening that saw and making your business run more efficiently so that you do have more time with family, more time with other things you need to do, more time investing in yourself with seminars and personal training so that you and your team are sharpening their saws together so you're more productive on the work hours, that you can see more people in less time in those work hours and thus be more productive or increase your value per time. Now, I don't like the term exchanging time for money. I'd rather you exchange skill set for money, like Gary Gunderson teaches, so that you're making more for less time. That's where we want to take things so that you can serve more people in less time and have a bigger impact in your community while still providing for you, your team, your family. Great stuff. All principles that are taught in Module 1, Module 2 that we're talking about for Business Finishing School, available online on YouTube. We implement those things into the Whiplash Group wholeheartedly. But you have to have an accountability partner. Are you making time each week, scheduling time each week that you're watching your videos from the Whiplash Group like this one and doing some training, some personal training, that you and your staff are having a Monday meeting and maybe watching these together so you're on the same page? Are you scheduling that time per week, half a day, 2 to 4 hours, where you're doing this, you're doing modules from Business Finishing School and doing the homework that's accompanied with that, where you're actually learning the stuff, putting pencil to paper to what you're going to apply and how you're going to apply that, and then actually implementing it? Do you have an accountability partner to hold your feet to the fire to do that? I'm happy to be that. We were doing the Tuesday morning calls. People weren't on those, so I'm pivoting myself because I don't want to be wasting my time being in one place for a certain period of time if other people can't be there and get the value out of it. So I would rather pivot and change, keep making you good content, interviewing other great people for good content that you then watch or listen to while you're driving to work during that scheduled time each week that you're working on your business, not in your business. I hope you're tracking with this. This is a powerful, powerful set of success tools that we're talking about today. So I want you to work on your business, not in your business, for at least half a day each week. And then I want you to think seriously about shortening down your time. Now, for you doctors of chiropractic and maybe the physical therapists, a fun marketing tool to do each year is a patient appreciation day. I'll have to talk to you attorneys how to do this. This would be something to do with your staff, but it's a whole different animal. Medical doctors, chiropractors, and physical therapists, tune in for this as we talk about a patient appreciation day. For the chiropractors and the PTs, I'm going to say this is a day where you want to do the one day per year where you do maybe complimentary services, where you have things going on, where you're pampering your clientele, your patients, to come and get a complimentary service. This is the only day you do your key service for free, like adjusting for chiropractors. PTs, you'll have to figure out what exercise thing you might want to do and the reason you're doing this is you're testing yourself and your team. How many people can you see in a shorter period of time? And you will blow your mind when you do this. If you were to say, I know some chiropractic physicians that see 1 or 2 people in an hour, and I'm going to say, whatever you see in a day, maybe it's 20 patients. I want you to see them within an hour on your patient appreciation day, where you're maybe having some cake or healthy snacks or something, and you're just getting everybody in and you're doing adjustments, and you're not talking about the weather. You're not talking about politics at the table. You are turning on that nerve power. You are giving somebody a table talk where you're talking something health oriented, doing the treatment, and you're done. And it's fast, it's efficient, it's Olympic adjusting, for example. Now, in case you're fogging over on this, the reason I want you to do this, if you set a day up for wellness visits and to see how fast you can see people for wellness visits, because a wellness visit should probably take 5, maybe 7 minutes. And I've been to my doctor for a wellness visit, an annual wellness visit, and I've sat in a room with the door closed for 30 to 45 minutes waiting for them to even come in and see me. And that's absolutely unacceptable business model behavior. Your staff, your patients, your clients should not have to wait that to see you. They should be in and out in a fairly functional manner, in a very timely manner. And you need to step back and look at and sharpen the saw and figure out how can you be more efficient and still give outstanding service in less time. And when you figure that out, your value is going to go up tremendously. Medical doctors, chiropractors, PTs. Another part of that is, besides the thing that you do as the doctor, the PT, the chiropractor, there's adjunct, what we call profit centers in your practice that the staff can be trained to do to help you still be generating while you're seeing this patient A, they're seeing patient B doing something else that also generates for the office and provides value for that patient or client while you're doing something over here. So the practice is functioning cost effectively, but you're also all functioning time efficiently. Really powerful tools. Starts off, it all comes down to first having your vision. What do you want to do? Now, our old mission for my chiropractic office was, our mission is to educate and adjust as many families as possible towards optimal health through natural chiropractic care and good nutrition. All right, pretty simple. Does it have anything to do with money? No. Does it have anything to do with insurance? No. Does it have anything to do with drugs? No. That was our mission. So from that, based on our values, it made it really easy for us to start finding out what things fit into our model. Now, being a certified auto accident injury specialist, obviously we wanted to help maximize recovery as well. So we had our PI side model and we had our cash-based model. What you heard was our cash-based model. Does it encompass the auto accident or motor vehicle collision stuff? Yes. Does the motor vehicle collision stuff have other sets of values and drivers that were the same? Very similar. Again, we wanted to treat the patient, not the insurance. We want to do everything ethically. We want to turn around our paperwork where our documentation was stellar and delivered in a timely fashion to the insurance companies, to the attorneys, to whoever needed those things. And then we want to be paid fair exchange for our higher level of service. So for the most part, we had two practices into one, but we had our structure and our foundation explained where we could understand it, explained where others could understand it, but yet they still fit under one umbrella, which was nice. Have you taken the time to figure out what your values are for the profit centers in your office? You should do that. When I say profit centers, you guys all know that I'm very focused in the Whiplash group. We all are in the Whiplash group, and the coaches that I deal with, we're not money centric. Income is a byproduct of service. We want to give outstanding service, and by their so doing, we get fair exchange. We don't get ripped off or fees hacked by people that don't want to do their job, so they want us to lower our fees so that they make money and the patient makes money in personal injury. No, we need to get paid fair exchange because we're the expert in that area. All these things are important, and we don't have a leg to stand on. We bend over backwards and go, oh, I guess I'll take another pay hit. Why? We're not comfortable and confident ourselves being that expert. That's why it's so good to be certified. We're not comfortable and confident because maybe our billing department isn't trained athletes. We're not investing in them to go to seminars and learn this stuff too. So we're not sharpening the saw. We don't have that roadmap planned out and knowing where to put energy into making it more efficient and better and better and better. So that's why these are all important features we're talking about today. You've got to have your stuff. You have to have your values in line so you can make your mission statement so that now you can build a functioning business on those foundational principles that then the right people are coming in to fit your model, employee wise, patient and client wise. Great stuff. I hope even the lawyers are listening to this and going, how does that apply to my firm? medical doctors, how does that apply to my practice besides just the chiropractors and the PTs that obviously have a higher volume clinic and a higher volume of patients that they see in a day and a more frequent that they see than once or twice a year. It all works. Business principles work in all these businesses. It's just figuring out how it works for you and your business. Great topics for today. Stay tuned. Upcoming weeks, we're going to have some deep dives into some business 101, how to market inside out. Because if we don't have why spend marketing dollars outside if when we bring somebody in, we're a train wreck on the inside? We have to get things running smooth, wax on, wax off inside of our practice with our team, with our procedures, with our protocols, with our flow, that inside advertises what an expert we are, that then it's easy to take that outside and draw people in to what we've built. So we're going to go over that. We got some great stuff coming up in the weeks in advance, great interviews with other experts that will just blow your mind. And I do encourage you guys to look at scheduling and attending the upcoming Business 101 day, which is day 1, day 2 day for chiropractors and PTs. That is a game-changing clinic and practice builder for those industries, those specialties. Until then, keep on saving lives.